Hello Zainey friends and welcome to A Makeup and a Movie. We haven't done one of these in a long time, but this is a collab with Mickey over at the Nerdily Blog, and I will put her link down below. Today I am using a bunch of single shadows and lipstick from the MAC Star Trek 50th collection. So if you're interested in hearing more about Star Trek and you want to be a part to boldly go where no man has gone before, just keep watching. Alright, so we haven't done one of these in like forever and a day. So we're just gonna kind of wing it today. Like I said, this will be a collab with my friend Mickey over at the Nerdily Blog. She's doing Star Trek stuff all month long, so she decided, you know, to kind of post it out there in our Geeks and Beauties group so that we could all be involved, and we would shout each other out on our channel. So I'll link her information down below so you can find her. And I did want to say that I am wearing my Star Trek necklace today. Yes. So yes, it is the 50th anniversary of Star Trek, and as such, you know, we watched the new movie that just came out this year. We're watching through the original series that, as we're going through, I'm still not awake yet, it's awesome. And as we do this video today, we're also going to be doing some tag questions. So if you want to join in, I'll put the questions for the tag down below, and then comment down below if you do it so we can check you out too. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use the NYX Jumbo Eye Pencil in Milk to put like a base on my lids. And then I'm going to use this color right here. This is the Urban Decay eyeshadow in Grifter. I'm going to be using a lot of singles in my look today to really make it like this interesting space thing. Yeah, so these two first while you talk. Alright.
So yeah, last night we watched the 4th Star Trek movie, Voyage Home. I believe, yeah, Voyage Home. And I had not seen any of the movies before that one. So 1, 2, or 3, I haven't seen those. I've only seen First Contact, and I believe the one that was after that one, I saw that one as well.
Which was Generations? No.
I don't know the name of that one. But
yeah, okay, yeah,
Yeah, so I've seen the newer Star Trek movies that have just recently come out with Zachary Quinto and Chris Pine. Yeah, Chris Pine. I get them mixed up. Chris Pratt, Chris Pine, and Chris Evans. So yeah, I like those movies. I like the new ones a lot. I thought they were really good, really exciting, and it's gotten me interested in the older stuff, like the series and the movies and stuff. So Laney and Marshall have kind of come up with a plan for me to check out all the other movies and things. So last night we started with the Voyage Home. And yeah, I mean, this one was, I thought, really good. I didn't have to know too much going into it, really. I mean, Marshall briefed me on some stuff before the movie. But honestly, there really wasn't too much you have to know going into it. You probably could just pick it up if you have seen nothing else and get into it and really enjoy the movie and what was going on. So yeah, in The Voyage Home, the movie takes place at the beginning of it, I guess, well, not I guess, I was told in the last movie, they basically escaped via a Klingon warship that they took. Okay, sorry, I'm looking to the judges for make sure
we get a thumbs up or thumbs down as again.
Am I saying it right? But yeah, so they're on
Vulcan. They're on Vulcan. Okay. Yeah.
So they're there. There was some kind of rescue mission of some type to get Spock. So they've got him. They've got a Klingon warship. The Enterprise is no more, and they're planning to go back to Earth, even though they know they're in trouble because they
are court-martialed.
Yeah, they've gotten some trouble. But, so yeah, Admiral Kirk, not Captain Kirk, Admiral Kirk is like, alright, we're gonna go back and, you know, we got to. That's what we think.
Okay, I got Urban Decay's Purple Haze, which I'm going to place in the crease, and then I'm going to use Urban Decay's Rockstar, which is a darker purple, on top of that, and like down in here, you can look, my eyes look so albino right now. Do you? I just noticed this. So yeah, we're gonna use those two in the crease. Yeah, so basically when they decide they're gonna go back to Earth, they're on Vulcan because, you know, Spock's on Vulcan. He's kind of like trying to resume his training because his soul that was in McCoy is now in Spock. It got transferred back to him when they brought him back, which happens in the first 3 movies of all these storylines and whatever, kind of all culminates into this one movie, so it's kind of complex to describe it if you haven't seen the other ones, but you can totally pick it up and be like, oh yeah, whatever, it's a good story anyway, right? Yeah.
So yeah, and so they're on their way back to Earth, but then Earth's having some issues. There is a probe, some kind of giant tube thing flying through space, knocking out, you know, power at some, big giant Tootsie Roll, coming through space, knocking out power and communications for all kinds of space stations and ships and all kinds of stuff, and then 10 towards Earth, and it's doing the same thing there. And the, I guess, Federation headquarters is there in San Francisco.
Yep.
And they send out a signal warning people, like, don't come here. This thing's coming here and destroying everything. The weather's flipping out, and so just stay away, don't come. And of course, those from the Enterprise that are now on this Klingon ship, they named it the HMS Bounty. So they're on the HMS Bounty heading that way, and they get that distress signal, and they realize we've got to do something, we've got to help them.
Although most normal people would be like, we dodged a bullet, let's go!
Exactly, like, okay, sure. Why not? There's a lot of other places to go. So, but no, they're good people, so they're like, we got to figure out what's going on. So, Admiral Kirk gets Uhura to figure out what are these signals, what's happening, what's the sound, what's happening in Spock 2, and they kind of try to figure it out, and they end up finding out it's humpback whale, like, songs. It's sounds from humpback whales. So they realize that in order to communicate with this probe, they're gonna have to get some humpback whales. But this is the 23rd century and they're extinct now at that point.
Because of course man is stupid and decided to kill them all and hunt them for their skins and their blubber and all that jazz.
Which at that time, the movie coming out, it was early-ish 80s, right? Like 85, 6, it was 86. So it's like mid-80s, and that was kind of like the thing at the time was like, save the whales, all that kind of stuff was really big at that time, like the mid-late 80s. I mean, I remember that in like elementary school, like all the time about, I lived in San Diego and always hearing about like, save the whales and stuff, so I guess it was like timely at that time the movie was being made.
Yeah.
So they are like, okay, well, how do we get some humpback whales? And, well, they were only on Earth. Then Kirk comes up with a brilliant idea of time travel, which, before I really heard of the movie, I didn't even think that was like something that happened in the Star Trek universe was time travel at all. So that's kind of cool. So they end up doing that, and they go back to 1986 San Francisco to get some humpback whales. And that's a little funny fish out of water kind of comedy experience there too. There's some really funny moments in there. Like there's a part where you have Uhura and Chekhov in the streets of San Francisco. And of course, this is like 86, Cold War is barely ended. Or has it even ended at that point?
Yeah, no, and not at that point, yeah.
Oh, it hadn't even yet. Okay.
It was still kind of like trickling down, like...
So yeah, you have this Russian guy going up to a cop in San Francisco, like, because they have to get some nuclear power in order to repower the ship so they can get back into their present time. And they're going up to like this cop in San Francisco on the streets, and they're like, where are the nuclear vessels? And the guy's just like staring at him with his like cop glasses on. And they're like asking all these people walking by, and they're just like, what? And I was dying. I'm like, this Russian guy just coming up to people asking, where's your nuclear vessels?
It's kind of funny, like, especially like people who are younger may not appreciate it as much as we do, because I mean, when that movie came out, I was 10. So spoiler, yes, I'm turning 40 this year. So yeah, I was 10, so I was like, I lived through the Cold War, kind of, and so I was kind of like, this is just, it's hysterical. Like, and especially looking back at like,
Oh,
This movie, like, just brings back what the 80s were like in so many ways.
Oh, the hair, too. Lots of 80s hair. 80s hair.
I want to tell you the next step I'm doing is I'm using this shade. It's called Coconut, and you can see in the camera how it's from Colourpop. It's really iridescent, and I've been looking for an excuse to use this for a very long time. I'm putting this on the lid, and then I'm gonna try to blend it out. And I've never tried this before, so we're gonna see how this looks. And this is Urban Decay's S&M. It's kind of a like a silvery color, and I'm gonna try to use this like right in the middle of this to kind of give it more depth. And then on my under eye right down here, I'm using I think this is Get Money or Get Paid. I can't remember. It kind of rubbed off, but this is a Colourpop eyeliner that is like this really pretty like coppery color, and I'm gonna use that right on the bottom there. Wish me luck.
All right.
Yeah.
So the other kind of funny story happening at the same time, they had to like split up. There was 6 of them total, right? Yeah, there were 6.
7. There's 7 of them. Mm-hmm. There's 7.
Okay. There's Admiral Kirk, Spock. Oh, McCoy. Forgot about McCoy. Oops.
Sulu, Chekhov, Uhura,
Scotty.
and Scotty. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, forgot about McCoy there for a moment. So yeah, they all split off into different teams to go look for different things to get these humpback whales and get them back to where they need to go. So some of them were going to get Uhura, and Chekhov went to go get power to repower the ship. Scotty and McCoy went.
They went to go get the
plexiglass.
The plexiglass, so that they could actually have the whales in the ship and build like a mini aquarium inside the ship.
Yep. And then there was Admiral Kirk and Spock. They go to look for the whales themselves. Mm-hmm. And they go to this local aquarium there, which is actually the Monterey Bay Aquarium up there near San Francisco. And they go there and discover there's a pair of whales, George and Gracie. And I did not get the reference for that. I did not remember that part of the 80s of George Burns, I guess is what that's from.
Gracie,
yeah, didn't get that.
You forgot one person.
Yeah,
Sulu. Sulu went to go get the helicopter.
Oh, Sulu, yeah.
So he was kind of on his own. He's trying to get a helicopter so they can transport the plexiglass to the ship.
Over to the ship.
So those are the other ones.
I was trying to figure out, like, who else is there? Okay, yeah, because his thing was, like, pretty small, honestly. They had, like, a few things of him trying to get the helicopter. He just, like, walked up to a guy in a helicopter and he's like, hey, can you answer some questions about this helicopter?
Yeah, and the guy was like, didn't even think there was anything weird about that at all. He's like, oh, so you flew these before. That's awesome. Yeah. Let me tell you about it. I'm like, that's random. Yeah. The 80s might have been a friendlier time. I don't know.
So, yeah, he's going off doing that. And then, so with Spock and Kirk getting the whales, they meet this woman that is an assistant director of this aquarium, who apparently at this aquarium, the assistant directors of it give the tours of the aquarium.
Yeah, because how else would she meet Kirk and Spock? Yes, they had to have her do it somehow. Yeah, we were both like, okay, we work in hospitality. Assistant directors do not give tours. No, unless they're undercover bossing this thing, it's not working, you know?
Exactly. So yeah, she gives them a tour, and they go through and they see the whales, and then they go into the underwater portion where you can see them underwater. And all these people, this very mixed crowd, it's such like a cliche mix of people that you see like in movies. Like there's like the old ladies, there's like some younger people, and then you got the random nun.
Why are the nuns always on the field trips?
Why was there like a random young nun there? Like she's just like, oh, it's my day off. Go check out the whales. Like, okay. So they're standing there looking at the whales under the water, and then all of a sudden this guy comes swimming in. And at first I'm thinking, oh, it's like a diver that works there, no big deal. And then I realized, wait, no, the guy's wearing the headband that Spock was wearing. Oh god, that's Spock in the tank with the whales. So I'm cracking up. And everyone's freaking out, and they get him out. And he did the mind meld thing that he does, where he was communicating with the whales, which is really cool. And he ends up finding out the female whale is pregnant. And yeah, so very interesting, of course. And then Kirk and the woman that's the assistant director at the aquarium, I don't even remember her name.
Her name is Jillian in the movie. She's the mom from Seventh Heaven,
yes,
everyone.
The mom from Seventh Heaven. I'll just call her that from now on. So the mom from Seventh Heaven ends up going on a little quick date with Kirk. He's trying to get some more info from her about like when are they, because they're planning on moving the whales out. They want to release them because they can't afford to keep them there anymore. They're giant humpback whales, you know, the largest like
and because
on Earth, basically.
and this might be a major spoiler, but not really, because one of the whales is pregnant. But if the whale gets born in captivity, it won't survive because no whale born in captivity survives. So they have to, because she's about ready to give birth to the baby humpback, they have to move her to the open sea so that the baby survives.
Yeah.
But if they do, then they run the risk of it being hunted by people up there.
So yeah, there's that
give and take
issue going on.
Life and death.
So. Yep, and so that's what ends up being kind of like the next big thing is trying to get these whales before they have to get shipped out. We're trying to get in there somewhere at that point and get those whales. And he tries to convince her, Jillian, to, you know, help him. He's afraid to tell her, like, you know, what he's really there for. Like, you know,
because why would you believe someone who said, I am from the future getting whales around him?
Yeah, he's trying to convince her, you know, he has good intentions. These whales are going to go somewhere where they're not going to be hunted. Which is something that she's very passionate about, is them not being hunted and everything and taken care of. So that issue goes on, and then of course they've got to get the whales. The whales end up getting shipped out a little bit earlier.
Okay, Kat Von D liner. I got Pacifica Mascara, and I got Benefit Their Real Mascara. And then, she's talking, I'm going to put on these Ardell Glamour lashes in 110 Demi. To make my lashes all fluttery. So far there's a little bit of fallout in this look, and that's fine, but yeah.
You gotta tap the brush. Tap it.
Yes. Well, I did tap the brush, but it still got all over me. What can I say? Continue.
Alright. So that's what happens there. I don't want to ruin too much of the rest of it for you because it's really good. It is really fun, funny. I was actually surprised how funny it was. I was really enjoying a lot of the moments in the movie.
Well, let's talk about the funny one where Scotty tries to use the computer.
Oh god, yeah. So they're at the they're at this plexiglass company, you know, trying to convince them to help them get some of this plexiglass, of course. So Scotty's like, I can show you something in exchange for the plexiglass. And so he's like, all right, let's go to the computer. And he just sits down at this like really old Mac, you know.
It's like this big.
Yeah, the screen's like, you know, 6 inches. So he sits down and just goes, computer. Well, I can't do a Scottish accent, but he's like, computer.
And then McCoy hands him the mouse. And he's like, you should use this.
So he takes the mouse and picks up and talks into the mouse.
Like it's some kind of intercom.
Like, oh, yeah. And starts talking into it. And then he's like, just use the keyboard. And then he gets on the keyboard and wow, like amazingly just like goes to town on it and all these things start popping up and he knows all the hotkeys for this Mac and it's just like, okay, apparently Apple is also what the Enterprise runs off of in the future. All the computers there. Because he was right in there working away.
Yeah. Well, what's really funny is because he's like, this is a really quaint keyboard, so you can tell like when he starts doing this real slow, and then he starts to pick up speed, and then he's like all over the place. And I'm like, well, okay, I remember that Mac vaguely because I used one for like 5 minutes when I was in college, and it's really like bare bones, you know? So using it probably wasn't that hard. He probably used some kind of Word document drawing software, I guess? I don't know. Like, how would you know that?
Yeah, so there's that. And then, like, Uhura and Chekhov, they get onto a naval ship to get some of the nuclear power from that, and that is a little issue there as well. Some little conflict there.
Definitely.
That becomes a little bit of a rescue mission, which is pretty funny as well.
Yes, yes it is.
Yeah, like it's a good time. It's funny. I think definitely if you have not seen it, or you haven't seen any of the other ones, this is probably a really good one to start with. I'd say, you know, check it out, see if you can enjoy it, and I'm sure you will. And then, you know, move on to the other ones.
Mm-hmm.
So,
all right.
Yeah.
So we have a tag.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and also I wanted to talk about One of the things coming out this weekend is a movie called For the Love of Spock.
Yeah.
I think they're doing it because of the 50th anniversary, and Leonard Nimoy died a year ago? Wasn't that long ago? 2 years ago?
Within the last year, I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely within the last year.
So I know in like my household, my mom was a huge Spock fan. I mean, she loved him, and I don't know if she's gonna see the movie, but you did a little bit of reading up on this movie, right?
Yeah. I mean, I can't blame her. From the little bits that I've seen of like the original show, like the original series, and from the movie I saw last night and the new movies, you know, Spock is definitely one of the most fascinating characters in this, so I can't blame anyone that's a big fan of the character. And Leonard Nimoy himself, he's a really great person, so. But yeah, this biographical film, For the Love of Spock, it was actually made by his son Adam. It originally started as it was going to be for the 60th anniversary, which is this year, and it was going to be a tribute to Spock and all the fandom that's behind it, as well as, you know, the people that have worked on the movies and the shows, and even Leonard Nimoy himself, who I guess at some point he had kind of a conflict with the character, and everyone considered him Spock, and he had to, you know, deal with that a bit, and then eventually came to terms with it of, you know, like, yeah, I am Spock, and that was like 2 biography books that he wrote.
Oh yeah, I'm Spock.
I'm not Spock, and then I am Spock. So deals with that a little bit. Well, that was originally what the plan was with his son Adam making it. But then he passed away a little bit after they started, and it ended up turning into more of a tribute of both Leonard Nimoy and Spock, the character. Sorry. So yeah, the movie ends up turning into that, and it's gotten some really great reviews. It was released both theatrically and digitally at the same time. So if you have like Google Play, or you have access to YouTube, well, I mean, if you're here, you do. You can rent it here on YouTube as well and see it. I saw the trailer for it. It looks amazing. It looks really, really good. It was like hard to watch too, because you see all these people just talking about the character and how it, you know, the character in the show and how it really changed the world and how it looked at space and science and things like that, and how Spock was really kind of a face of it. And so you see all these people talking about that, but then also talking about Leonard Nimoy and how he was such a humble, loving person and affected all these people as both his character and his self. Looks very interesting. I'm excited to see that.
Yeah. So let's do my last step, and then we'll go on to the tag. So also, MAC has a 50th anniversary Star Trek collection for makeup. So I don't have anything except for 1 MAC lipstick. Oh no, that's not true. I do have 2 MAC eyeshadows and 1 MAC lipstick. So I decided to get one from the collection, a lipstick from the collection, and this is Where No Man Has Gone Before. Let me show you. So this is the box it came in. Sorry, our camera overheated and we had to reset. So this is the box it came in, and here is the tube. Now the tube looks really cool. It's got the insignia on it right there. It says 50th in the middle. I think it's really cool looking with the bullet. And then here is the shade. And it's actually like less metallic-y than I thought it was gonna be, really.
Yeah, that's a really cool color. What's the name of the color?
Oh, it is called Where No Man Has Gone Before.
That's kind of cool. So did they have a lot of like Star Trek inspired makeup, or is it just lipsticks?
No, they had 4 lipsticks, 4 glosses, they had some singles. It was a really small collection. Oh. They also had like 3 face powders, some pigments, probably some liners, I want to say, but they only had like a couple shades of each. Oh. So it wasn't like a large collection, but it was, you know, it was fairly decent size. This was probably one of the cheaper things that they had, and this one was like $19, just to be honest. But like, I don't usually spend $20 on a lipstick unless it's liquid and I know it's gonna last a long time, but this is very special, so I'm gonna do it. Yeah, okay. So let's go ahead and do the tag. Questions for the Star Trek tag. When did you become a Star Trek fan?
Probably when I saw the newer movie that just came out this year.
This year, or like before then?
Yeah, I'd say this year. This 3rd one really did it. The other 2 were good and I enjoyed them, but like I feel like with this 3rd one, I don't know, there was just something about it just kind of hit the spot, and I was like, I really want to know more about this universe. I really want to find out. like what the other movies are like, and the shows. So I would say that. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so in my house, I basically was born into the Star Trek culture. My parents were huge Trekkies. I mean, when they were in college, they wore the outfits like to Halloween. Like, I think my mom still actually has one of them, and I'm not sure. It's like a red, like, original series red dress. I dressed up like that. For a time, I tried to rebel, like it's not cool, you know, because back then being a geek was not cool, and I was this awkward girl, and I was like really trying to push away from not the mainstream, right? So when I went to college, I kind of grew out of that, and I began to appreciate it a little bit more. I watched all of the original series. I watched all of Next Generation. I didn't really watch Deep Space Nine, but I love the original movies and the Next Generation movies, except for number 3. Not 3, 2. Which is Wrath of Khan, because I was traumatized. I was very young when my parents took me to go see it in the theaters, and if you have seen that movie, you know that they're about mind controlling bugs, and they look like pincher bugs, like the little, like they have little pinchers, and they put it in your ear and they control your mind, and I cannot, to this day, cannot watch that movie because I was so traumatized when I was that young, because I thought bugs were going to crawl into my head and control my mind. So that is the only movie I will not watch ever. Yes. Okay, number 2. What is your favorite Star Trek episode? Which is hard probably for me and him both, because...
Well, for opposite reasons too.
Yeah. Well,
I've seen like 2 episodes of the shows. I've seen the very, very, very original episode pilot.
Okay.
From the original series, and then the next episode. But so based on those 2 episodes, I don't know. The first one was actually kind of interesting. They had only Spock in it from you know, all these characters that we know.
Right.
But it was an interesting one. I don't know. It was very interesting.
Yeah. You will say, you know, probably for different reasons, I've seen a lot of them, but to me, I don't really have a favorite episode because it's been so long since I've seen them all, honestly, so I'm not sure. I am super excited for the new one to come out, and I'm kind of mad at CBS for making it maybe be a pay-for-play. Once it comes out, we'll have to like pay CBS to see it. I'm a little angry, but we'll see how that works when it comes out in January, but yes. Number 3, what is your favorite Star Trek starship?
I don't know, the new Enterprises in the new movies
it's cool.
Are nice.
Yeah.
Very nice, sleek. I don't know, I like that compared to like the older ones. I mean, obviously the technology's different and stuff, so, but I don't know, I guess the Enterprise.
The Enterprise is the Enterprise, yeah. Number 4, who is your favorite...
Enterprise, okay.
Yeah. Who is your favorite Star Trek captain? I'm a Picard, all the way.
Oh, yeah?
I love Picard.
I don't know anything.
I mean, how could you not love Patrick Stewart?
Spock was like captain for a minute, right? And
for a little bit, yeah.
Spock.
Yeah. What is your favorite Star Trek alien?
I've seen a few, because I'm familiar with some of the like characters I've seen and things like that. I don't know. I'm kind of interested in the Klingons? Yeah, Klingons.
The ones with the
forehead? Yeah.
Yeah, they're cool.
They're about.
Okay. So my favorite is a Betazoid because they are empathic.
Yeah.
And so they can kind of feel the emotions and that kind of thing. And I always thought that was like, what a cool alien trait to have, you know? Like, really helping people, so yeah.
Yeah, I just learned about her character the other day. One of my coworkers was talking about her as their favorite character. So,
yeah. All right, number 6. What is your best Star Trek moment? I didn't write this. This is from a channel called Trekker Prize, by the way. I'll link that down below.
Well, based off of what I have seen, I think probably the Enterprise racing through, in the newer movie Beyond, Star Trek Beyond, the Enterprise racing through that space station, I forgot what it was called, but it was like racing through there and like everything was flying around, and that was probably for me.
Okay. I don't know. This is a really hard question, honestly. The one that I can remember the best is when It's in the second movie. What's the one with Benedict Cumberbatch? That's the second movie, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so I remember they're like on a ship and like chasing each other. You know what I'm talking about? On top of the ship.
Oh yeah.
That was a good one, but I guess I will have to go back to Star Trek 4, honestly, because like one of my favorite parts is when Scotty's trying to talk to the computer. Like ever. Ever. Because it's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, number 7. What does Star Trek mean to you? I'll start so he can think about it. But what it means to me is basically like it's nostalgia. It's like part of my childhood, and basically was the thing that like kind of started me off in like the geek culture in a way. So even though I associated it with something that may have been negative for part of my childhood, it grew up into something positive. And I also want to say, and while this doesn't like directly affect me, it kind of does. Star Trek had so many motions forward, and what I mean by that is they thought of things before they became reality. Today's science and technology, some of it is literally based on Star Trek. It came about to be true almost prophetically. And let's also talk about the fact that they were the first TV show to have an African-American actress who did not portray a maid. And that was big. Like if you ever hear Whoopi Goldberg talks about that, that's one of the reasons why she decided to go into show business, because she saw Uhura and that she was, you know,
she was part of that team.
Not a servant.
Just like a background person.
Exactly.
She was part of that team.
So there was like so many advances that Star Trek did that like affect our culture today that people don't even realize. Like it's kind of insane.
Yeah, I'd say pretty much those same reasons. I mean, I've always known of it as part of pop culture and how it's had its effect on so many different things, you know, science and technology, and especially with space travel and things like that. I find that always fascinating, and so, yeah, it's great.
Well, this is the look that I came up with for Makeup at a Movie. This is going to be so long, we're going to have to edit it down, but oh well. If you're interested in doing a collab with us, make sure you put your link down below. If you want to do the tag, put your link down below. Yeah, like, subscribe, and yeah. So until next time,
stay zany.
Live long and prosper.